Hello, Older Nation family and friends. I've got a short story to tell you about my friend from seminary named Jim. In high school, his dad gave him a part-time job that started after school ended. He would work a couple hours in the office and then they would go home together. He had to walk a short distance from the school to get started for the office day. And on about his second or third day past there, he realized there was a small cafe called the Nutter Butter. And he stopped in the Nutter Butter and thought, I'm going to get a milkshake on my way. I won't be very late. So he walks into the place, and there's nobody in the place other than a waitress. And she looks over at him, points to a booth, and he sits down. And he says, I'd like a grilled cheese sandwich and a milkshake. And without much word at all, she goes, makes the sandwich and the milkshake, brings it back, puts it down in front of Jim, and writes the bill down. Doesn't say much of anything. Jim is thinking, she is beautiful, but she's college, I'm in high school, and probably out of my league. When she doesn't say anything or pay any attention to him, he's convinced that's the case. So he pays his bill, goes to the office, works. The next day, he says, the milkshake was pretty good, so I'm going to stop at the Nutter Butter again. And he walks in, and the minute he opens the door, again, the waitress is the only one in the place, and she says, hey, Jim, you want the same thing? Yeah. And then he thinks, I don't even remember telling her my name. How would she know? But at any rate, she brings the grilled cheese sandwich, the milkshake, and then she sits down to talk to him. And she talks to him the whole time he eats his sandwich and finishes his shake. And then when Jim starts to get his money out of his wallet to pay, she says, no, don't worry about it. It's all on me. Jim thinks, she has really decided I must be something super. So at any rate, he leaves, goes to work. The next day, you know what he's doing, though. The next day, he definitely stops at the Nutter Butter, walks in, and the minute he hits the door, she says, same one, Jim? Yes. And they go through the same routine. She sits down, talks, and they have the best conversation of all. She's very interested in him. So this goes on, and of course, Jim keeps showing up every day, and the conversations keep getting longer. And finally, one day he realizes he's been there too long, and he really almost is at the end of the workday. So he hopes his dad won't see him when he gets into the office. But lo and behold, as you would expect, he walks in the office, and his dad's right there, right in front of him, and says, Jim, you're a little late today. Jim starts to stammer and to make up some excuse, and his dad says, how's the Nutter Butter? The Nutter Butter? What? How'd you know I was at the Nutter Butter? And Jim's dad looks at him and laughs and says, who in the world do you think is paying for all those grilled cheese sandwiches and milkshakes and the big tip for the girl to spend time talking to you? Jim realized all the time his dad had known exactly where he was, what he was doing, and had paved the way and was working behind the scenes to give him the best of all experiences. And the blessings he thought were all because he must be so cool were actually put in place by the one who loved him. Jim taught that lesson to all of us because he had learned himself that when we say in our liturgy at church, which we say every once in a while, all things come of thee, O Lord, and of thine own have we given thee. And that message is a signature of God on our lives. If we really are thinking about all the blessings we've received, sometimes we start to think it's because we're so good. But in truth, it's because everything that we've received is the product of all the talents, the gifts, the opportunities, the family structure we were born into, the place that we were given to be able to work. We had to engage with that, but we always have a leg up because God is always working in our life to provide blessing upon blessing. Therefore, our job should be to be able to recognize that God's at work and give thanks to God. The first response to the blessings, I hope, is always one of gratitude. I'm thankful that God blesses me with one thing after another that enriches my life or builds blessings that I can share with others. And that's the kind of work we're all about at Old Nation. We don't build a budget based on what we need. We build a budget every year based upon what you decide, based on the blessings you've received and your level of gratitude, that this is the kind of offering you can make back to go into God's work. Because as we're grateful for what God has done for us, we always want to return that favor, return the blessings. And the best we can do that is participate in what God is doing in the world. And that's what we are trying to do. I pray that as you come Sunday, you will have prayerfully and thoughtfully considered what your giving might be in the year 2024, so that as we build a budget, it's based on how God has already blessed you and your gratitude towards that. Please come place your card in the offering plate on Sunday, or make your pledge online, or send me an email, and we will have a year of 2024 of being blessed and returning the blessing to bless the rest of the world.